The cheating situation on Linux is awful right now, and the current offerings are way too weak. There's one exception to this rule: Google. Google's Android, a Linux-based operating system, was the mobile OS for user freedom until it bit everyone in the rear end. PUBG, they bet their future on Android Linux, then got burned by the lack of anti-cheat. Sweaty tryhards use and abuse the open platform at the expense of others. The gamers were no longer the main character, the cheaters were. Users with their sensitive data trusted Android. They got burned by criminals stealing users' money from bank Trojans. All of this to feed their money laundering and crypto portfolios. However, the hackers made a grave mistake that awakened the sleeping bear. They then started to mess with Google's advertisement revenue. The trust, money, and safety of users on the world's largest OS is on the line. Google then went to war against a mass invasion of cheaters and hackers. Their response? The Safety Net API. Unlike Windows, this is shifting the kernel-level checking from a bunch of game developers to Google instead. The battle was won, but not the war. The cheaters found a way to get around it, and worse, it was fragmented and unorganized. The hackers still broke through, and it wasn't good enough to stop the cheaters. Google needed revenge to enact their full wrath on hackers for messing with their ad revenue, and to end the fraud and bot farms ruining businesses. Google's answer to the arms race replaced the Safety Net API with something far more strict: the Play Integrity API. This is every script kiddie's nightmare. It can detect rooted phones, uncertified devices, and emulators or sandboxes not approved by Google. Developers can then easily reject service to tampered environments as an anti-cheat mechanism. And Google's philosophy is pretty simple. They refuse to trust the gamer's device. So instead of just relying on the kernel level checking, they also use the cloud. The OS generates a token that is then verified by the cloud. And this is extremely hard for a hacker to fake. Combined with the frequent checks that make it much more difficult for cheaters to play nice at startup, then rug pull after the checks end and then start the cheats. And that's not the only thing this API is able to do. This API has a device recall that makes it easier to do hardware level bans. No more device resetting or reinstall and create a new account to evade a ban. And the best part, you don't have the trust me bro with Sony or Epic with their own version of kernel level anti-cheat. The burden has been placed upon Google, not game developers, to worry about system integrity. Maybe Microsoft should use Copilot to write down some notes here. Google has other security measures working together with that revolutionary change that both fills the role of an effective kernel-level anti-cheat and respecting user privacy. One of them is Android's verified boot. This ensures that OS hasn't been tampered with, and modifying the bootloader or system partition will cause a hacker's system to fail integrity checks. This makes it a very good protection against very low-level cheats. And second, each app is essentially like its own prison. Nobody gets in or out of your app. It's similar to what Flatpak does, but it's supported with enterprise resources. And unless you somehow become a root user or somehow bypass security, this is going to prevent other apps from messing with each other. This saved Google millions and billions of dollars. And for game developers like PUBG, Android went from a cheater's paradise to a cheater's prison cell. Linux gaming can achieve this too. Google proven anti-cheat and security is a developer will and priority issue, not an inherent flaw of open source or even open source like operating systems. Unless someone steps up to fix anti-cheat on desktop Linux, AAA won't have the confidence to ship serious competitive blockbuster video games on Linux ever. But if they do fix it, it's pretty promising for Linux gamers. In conclusion, Google's model of anti-cheat is much better than Windows in my opinion. It saves game developers time and money, so they focus on shipping games instead of doing advanced security research. Don't forget to like the video and share your thoughts down below.